This isn't just a story, it's a cry from the soul of nature. It starts with silence, but not the kind of silence that soothes or comforts. This is the heavy, suffocating silence that fills a room when something sacred is slipping away. The sanctuary, usually alive with the morning chorus of birds, rustling leaves, and the distant calls of wild creatures, feels frozen in time. The first streaks of sunlight stretch across the concrete floors, painting long shadows across the enclosure. Yet Pemb, the once mighty silverback, the king of this sanctuary, the soul of its heartbeat, lies still in the corner. His chest rises and falls, faint but steady, as though each breath is a negotiation with life itself. Once upon a time, this same gorilla would wake with the dawn, pounding the steel bars with playful authority, demanding his breakfast with a thunderous grunt, reminding everyone around him that he was not just alive, but indomitable. Today, there is none of that. Today, his eyes are hollow, his limbs slack, and his spirit dim. Maya, his keeper, walks in as she has for over 2 decades, her steps instinctively light, her hands carrying the same trust and love she has carried since the day she first cradled him as a frightened infant rescued from poachers. She kneels at the gate, whispers his name, Pemb. No response. She tries again, softer, trembling now, almost pleading, and finally his eyes shift toward her. Recognition flickers, weak but real. In that flicker, her heart both breaks and hopes. The verse whispers into her soul, the righteous care for the needs of their animals, but the kindest acts mirror the eternal bond God placed between creation and humanity. That truth steadies her as she realizes the battle she has dreaded is upon them. By noon, the vet confirms what her heart already knew, liver failure, rapid and irreversible. The sanctuary falls into a weighty stillness, the staff gathered, the decision looming. Maya doesn't fight it, doesn't speak, just nods, her knuckles white against the table. She knew this day would come, but knowing and accepting are oceans apart, the evening comes heavy with grief. The zoo has closed, and the sanctuary lies in hushed reverence, as though every bird and tree knows the sorrow it carries. Maya returns to his enclosure alone, her heart breaking under the weight of farewell. She sits just beyond the barrier, on the cold floor that has been their meeting place for years, her voice carrying stories into the twilight. You remember when you stole my walkie and climbed to the top of the giraffe barn? She whispers, half a laugh, half a sob. Her words are memories, spilling like prayer beads through her trembling fingers, each one a testimony of their bond, a bond born not of ownership, but of love, sacrifice, and shared survival. Pemb's chest rises slower now, his eyes half open but fixed in her direction. And though weak, his presence calms in her company, like a weary child comforted by the steady heartbeat of a parent. She presses her forehead to the cold metal, whispers, I'm not ready, but if you are, I'll be strong. I promise. To her astonishment, Pemb shifts with monumental effort, pressing his giant hand against the barrier. Without hesitation, Maya reaches back, palm to palm, flesh to fur, woman to gorilla, soul to soul. For a brief moment, the entire sanctuary seems to breathe with them. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their labor. If either of them falls, one can help the other up. The verse burns in her spirit. She was placed here not to save him from death, but to walk him through it with dignity. That night she stays, silent and steadfast, her vow etched in every heartbeat she shares with him. He will not go alone. Dawn breaks softer the next day, as if the sun itself hesitates to shine. The chatter of birds is subdued, and even the restless rustling of distant enclosures feels muted, a sanctuary draped in mourning. Maya enters with a tray of offerings, fresh fruit, warm oatmeal, even peanut butter biscuits, Pemb's childhood favorite. She knows he won't eat, but she prepares them anyway. This is ritual, a love letter in action, a final gift. Inside, Pemb lies against the far wall, his massive frame appearing so small now, shrunken by illness and time. She whispers, good morning, old friend, her voice breaking on the word friend, because to call him that feels both too small and infinitely too large. He stirs slowly, painfully, but stirs nonetheless. His tired eyes lift, searching, finding hers. The first time in days, recognition shines brighter. His lips quiver, releasing the faintest grunt, and Maya's chest caves with emotion. He remembers her. Kneeling beside him, she brushes his coarse silver fur, and to her astonishment, he leans into her touch, weak but unmistakable. The staff watching from outside grow silent, reverent, knowing they are witnessing something holy. Maya pulls out a small speaker, plays the soft piano music she once used to calm him during thunderstorms. The notes echo gently, wrapping the enclosure in warmth. Pemb exhales a low rumble, not of pain but of peace. For an hour she talks as she always has, about the weather, about mischievous stories, about the crate of bananas he once refused to share. Each word is a thread, weaving love around his fading form. Then with unimaginable effort he shifts again, lifting his trembling arm. Slowly, carefully, he curls his fingers around her back, pressing her into his embrace. Gasps ripple from the staff, but Maya cannot breathe, tears flood as he hugs her, his massive head resting on her shoulder, breath hot and heavy in her ear. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. His hug is not weakness, not instinct, it is farewell. The entire sanctuary weeps in silence, and in that hug, eternity itself pauses. The sun climbs higher, spilling light into the gorilla house like a flood of truth that cannot be denied. The veterinary team enters, their movements precise but hearts heavy. Their equipment hums quietly, almost apologetic. Maya stays kneeling, her hand on Pem's fur, grounding herself in his presence. She feels every shallow breath vibrating under her palm. When the vet clears his throat, the words come, "It's time." The phrase crushes the air from her lungs. Tears stream unrestrained, but she nods. She whispers into his ear, "I'm here, I'm right here." The injection is prepared. The silence thickens until every sound, the drip of a pipe, the shuffle of feet, becomes deafening. When the needle touches his skin, Pem exhales, slow and deep, as though releasing decades of struggle. Maya clutches him, whispering scripture through her sobs. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. His chest rises once more, then falls. Stillness. For a long time, Maya cannot move. Her tears soak his fur. The staff cry quietly in the background, but no one interrupts. Slowly, she stands, her legs trembling, and presses her forehead to his. "Thank you," she whispers, "for everything." The sanctuary seems to sigh with her, the world heavier but more beautiful because he lived. Later, when the sun sets, the staff gather, not in grief alone, but in gratitude. A life like Pem's, rescued from violence, raised in love, and leaving in dignity, is not tragedy but miracle. His story becomes legend, a testimony to the human and animal connection that transcends boundaries. The video of his final hug spreads across the world, millions touched by the gorilla who chose to say goodbye with love. And in that moment, Pem does not die, he lives forever, in the bond he shared with Maya, in the tears and hope of strangers across the globe, in the truth that love between humanity and animals is the most sacred rescue of all. "Just give me one more minute," Maya whispers, her voice trembling but resolute, as if she's bargaining not with the vet, but with time itself. The vet hesitates, then nods slowly, lowering his instruments. Around them, the team quietly sets down the tranquilizer gun and medical kit, their movements careful, reverent, like priests in the middle of a sacred ritual. The air shifts, thick with anticipation, heavy with grief, and as if sensing this invisible change, Pem stirs. The great silverback, whose breaths had grown shallow, tilts his massive head toward Maya. His eyes, heavy-lidded and clouded with exhaustion, lock on hers with a clarity that stills the room. A low sound rumbles from his chest, soft, guttural, almost like a sigh, but carrying with it the weight of decades. Slowly, impossibly, his enormous arm rises, trembling with effort until his hand grazes her face. His thick fingers, clumsy but intentional, brush against her cheek. The entire room gasps. Even the vet, who has seen countless endings, lowers his gaze, blinking back tears. Maya presses her face into his hand, her sobs muffled by the warmth of his palm. "I love you, Pem, you've been my whole life," she whispers, the words spilling raw, fragile, eternal. He blinks slowly, his breath catching in his chest. Then, against all odds, he shifts, pressing his weight upward. For the first time in days, he straightens, his chest lifting, his back pressing against the wall, his mighty frame once again towering, though fragile now, carved by time and illness. From the adjacent enclosure, the other gorillas erupt in soft, mournful grunts and calls, their voices echoing through the sanctuary. Pem turns his gaze toward them, and with a long, low call that rolls like thunder, he answers. It is not rage, it is not command, it is farewell. The keepers clutch their mouths, tears streaming freely, as the haunting sound vibrates through the air like a funeral hymn written by nature itself. All flesh is like grass,